52-year-old female, not a dude, not a bra, not a bro, not a man, not a sir. Community guidelines for this live is as follows. No hate speech, no harassment or bullying. If you can do those few things, then we are golden. So, if you're unable to do that, you can leave my live. There will be no discrimination of any kind. And that will be that. So in the meantime, I'm going to pause this for a few minutes. You are allowed to come in and say hello. And if you are a troll, you will be reported or removed. And I want to make these things very clear before I get started on my discussion this evening. And be sure we're all up to par on that. I'm going to shut down momentarily, but I'll be back on in a few minutes. Again, my community guidelines is I'm a 52-year-old female, and there will be no hate speech, no harassment or bullying on here. If you are on my channel, on my live to cause problems, you will be removed or reported. So just keep those in mind as you come on here. And I'm going to make sure that everyone understands the community guidelines before I get started, because I don't want to be talking and have someone come in. I'll be watching the comments in this live. And again, if this kind of live is not for you, you're more than welcome to vacate and go elsewhere. And also, I have posted some new videos to my YouTube channel. Again, 52-year-old female here. And just want to make sure everybody knows you are welcome to come in live. This is a safe space for LGBT and allies, or those that support the LGBT community. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. Thank you for the likes, everybody. Appreciate it. Anybody have anybody have good news to share as far as what you did over the weekend? Anyway, here we go. I'm going to start my live now. Again, the community guidelines are as follows. No hate speech, no bullying, harassment, no discrimination of any kind, and no, I'm not a dude, bro, brah, sir, him, he. Those comments will be reported or removed. So if you're not liking this live and you don't like me for some reason, you can go elsewhere. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to start the live now. The first thing I want to discuss, everybody talks about Charlie Kirk. They say he was a good man, that he was a free speech speaking person, which he was not. Um, he stated that in 1940s the blacks were better off because they less crime. He also called a Asian person a chink, and so the individuals who support Charlie Kirk are supporting a racist, a homophobic, transphobic, and whatever else you want to throw in there. And Megan Fox, Charlie Kirk, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, and Candace Owens are very dangerous because they're anti everything. They're anti LGBT. They're against anybody who doesn't like the LGBT community or believe what they say. Now, they can say that they have a doctorate or whatever they want to in this topic, and maybe they do, but you know what? I say if you're not part of the LGBT community or you don't know of somebody who is part of that community, that is the only way that you're going to know anything about LGBT people. Now, here lately, I want to say something. I also met a lady yesterday. I went out to Glendale, and I bought something that I liked, and so I brought it home. But we were talking there in the parking lot before we got on back on our deals and come home. And she has a niece that thinks that Charlie Kirk is misunderstood or whatever. And I think that I don't know the daughter, but I think that, love is love. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're LGBT or not. You can love who you love and be who you need to be. And Charlie Kirk was not the best, in my opinion, as a 52-year-old female. I don't think that Charlie Kirk was a good role model for anybody, simply because he talked a good game. He thought he knew everything. He was full of hate. And I can say this, what happened to Charlie Kirk, when somebody like Charlie Kirk, or anybody for that matter, decides to build hate toward a marginalized community, then something like happened to Charlie Kirk can happen to anyone, because you're building that hate. And so when you build that hate, you're the one that caused yourself to get hurt or killed or whatever the person decides to do to hurt you. You guys, a lot of you will try to tell me that, or not tell me, but say that, you like to bring the Bible into this. And the Bible, some of you use the Bible as like a weapon against the LGBT community, especially the trans people. Now, because of one thing I want to talk about here while I have is, people say they claim that the shooter was trans, that trans people are nihilistic terrorist groups, and they think that trans people should be institutionalized automatically. That's not true. I don't believe that. The same people that are saying this, that followed Charlie Kirk and also probably support Hitler, are the same people that are MAGA Christians. You can take trans people out of the equation on paper and all that, which is not right. And people might kill most trans people or anybody that's in the LGBT community. But here's the thing. When you do that, you are full of hate. And when you use the Bible to try to justify your hatred toward anybody, whether they're LGBT or Sikh or Mexican or whoever, then you're not preaching, you're double standarding, because you're preaching what the Bible says, but you're not doing what the Bible says. And for those of you who are MAGA Christians or cults, think about this. The Bible says do not have a housekeeper. Well, actually, it says do not have slaves. But in today's society, a housekeeper, somebody who comes in and helps you keep your house, is a slave. Most of you probably wear mixed articles of clothing. The Bible says don't do that. But yet, you guys, the individuals that do this, want to criticize the LGBT community and claim they're being persecuted when they're the ones doing the persecution of the LGBT community. Now, we all know, and it should be this way, it should be church, separation of church and state. But in today's society, as a 52-year-old female, that is not the case. They mix everything, and for some reason, a lot of individuals, especially MAGA Christians, MAGA cult members, are obsessed with trans people. They cannot sleep until they know what you're doing, whether it's behind closed doors or not. And the Senate and the Congress who are making these anti-LGBT bills are the same way. But it is a shame to have people in power like Charlie Kirk and, these like Megan Fox and Matt Shapiro and Ben Walsh and all the others that are anti-LGBT. I don't understand why most of you are obsessed with trans people or anybody in the LGBT community, because it's like, unless you know what everybody that's part of that community is doing, you all can't sleep. And it's just astonishing and disappointing on how our Congress is trying to push through these, anti-LGBT bills. Now you've got Nancy Mace saying that trans people are a nihilist and should be institutionalized. Nancy Mace, but everybody knows that Nancy Mace is a hater of LGBT people or trans people. And the Supreme, and now we've got Kim Davis trying to overturn gay marriage, or so they say. I mean, there was talk that the Supreme Court was going to hear it, or they might hear it. I don't know. But I know there are several things they need to be able to do that. There are certain steps to even taking on that bill for gay marriage, or as I like to call it, equality marriage. But there again, a lot of people that are not for gay marriage, or whatever they want to call it, they want to overturn that, and they want to turn it around and make, God says this, Let me tell you all something else. When you all make comments like, especially the MAGA cult and the MAGA Christians, so-called conservative Christians, the one who are double standard in my book, when you do that, you are actually using the Bible to justify your hate, and it's an abuse of using the Bible when you do that. So you're not really gaining anything. You might think you are, but you're not. Some of you talk about LGBT people or topics that you know nothing about. You think you know because you read it online or you've seen a clip of something or you read an article or whatever, but you know nothing about that. And it's very disheartening. Thank you for the likes, everybody. Yeah. So when you do these things and when you act like this, I am not a left or right. I'm not Democrat, Republican. I am a neutral woman. I am for the woman who I'm the type of woman who likes people that gets in the government and does things for the LGBT community, protects them, not pass judgment on them. That's what I like. And right now, our government is not doing that. And MAGA supporters, Charlie Kirk supporters, Ben Walsh supporters, Candace Owens supporters, Megan Fox supporters, none of you are, yeah, you're just going the opposite direction with that. So if you're against the LGBT community or anything, then, you know, but LGBT people are still human. Like this lady I met over in Glendale yesterday, you know, I bought something and we were talking about some things and she made the statement, love is love. Now, apparently she's got family or somebody that she knows that is LGBT or part of the community. And they're married to the person they're married to, and they say this person is a great person. And I have no problem with that. Most of you probably would. So, you know, by the way, I want to shout out to the girl over in Glendale if she's listening. You know, I hope everything went well. Thank you for the shirt I bought too. On another note, I also want to put out there that I downloaded some videos and I am going to be downloading some more videos as well. So I still do my customer service critic videos. These things that I've been doing here lately, the live, you know, I had somebody ask me why I went live when I just have the letter P on my screen. I'm doing a live deal where you can make comments and maybe a request to join in the conversation if that's doable on YouTube. I don't know if it is or not. I've never had anybody request to join in a conversation with me, but I've had people make comments on the screen. So I've done that. But even if not, you can make comments. Again, the comments need to be respectful and not hate speech and whatnot. So just keep that in mind as well. So I'm trying something new. I'm doing these lives like this to discuss things that mean a lot to me or things that I might find interesting topics. Now, if there's trolls, then I will be looking for that as well. I have to watch the comments if anybody comments. But I do want to mention that I posted a video yesterday of a trip I took to Jack in the Box, not too far from where I live. It was not real late, but it was dark. It was like 9, 10, maybe 11. And went to the drive-thru and ordered some food and videotaped while I was at the window. And, you know, I had a couple people there that it's actually at the 7th Street and Buckeye location there on the corner across from the Circle K, where unfortunately the staff there doesn't care what their workers do. And this hatred toward me has been going on since the early 2000s at different various locations. So now Jack in the Box does have good food. Their tacos are similar to what I had back in my hometown. at a restaurant called In a Tub, but that's the only thing that's really good on their menu. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be going there. But now when I go there, I do film in drive-through. And I've had people there tell me that they reported me to YouTube for filming and whatnot and all kinds of crazy things. But I just want to say that I've researched this, and it is not against the law to film when you're out in public. It is actually a constitutional protected activity to film when you're out in public. So, but when people see a camera, they go nuts. They start trouble. They start threatening you. They start doing, and just because you're filming doesn't mean you're filming a certain person. Maybe you're filming a building across the street that you like. The architecture's cool. I've seen buildings. I like the architecture. Downtown here where I live, they have a upside down pyramid. I haven't videoed it yet, but I probably will. It's an upside down pyramid. It's actually an office building, but it's kind of cool because it's upside down pyramid. It's different. But since, I had a couple people there at Jack in the Box say some very homophobic, transphobic slurs to people I know and things toward me that they shouldn't have said. So now when I go anywhere, I video. I have a camera I can wear on my body that records. I can play it back on my phone and watch the video and whatnot. I also have body cams I can hook to myself as well, and that's what I do. But I'm a customer service critic, so like whenever I go to a restaurant and somebody starts, saying LGBTQ slurs or something like that, I'm usually recording. And then I will go talk to a manager and get a manager involved. Now, some of the managers don't care. Some of the managers try to buy me off with free drinks or free food. But then I just call corporate. I get a hold of somebody at corporate, explain what happened, see if they can intervene. But that's why I film. And I also film people that park in disabled parking spaces that shouldn't park there because I'm disabled myself. I have a right prosthetic above the knee, and I can't always park in a disabled space because somebody parks there with no insignia on the tag or no placard in the window. And so I will video the vehicle to post it up for educational, and I don't get paid for doing what I do. I don't get anything out of it. I post these videos up for, let's say we're talking about, let's use Quick Trip. I can be at any Quick Trip. I never know when I'm going to be at a certain Quick Trip in a certain area, but I go to the 24th Street McDowell one a lot when I'm able to. And I get drinks, I get some of their food products, and I come home, but I know I haven't been there for quite a while, but I did know the day supervisor that was there. I don't know if he's still there or not, but I may reintroduce myself to them. I there for a while. I was going there almost every day, and then something happened, and I go on. But I do all kinds of things as far as videos. But the main thing I'm talking about right now is all the hatred toward the LGBT community. That's what I'm talking about right now. I'll cover that. So I will still do videos like I did before I started this live thing that I'm doing right now, because these topics need to be addressed. And not everybody's going to like me. Not everybody's going to, I might get some, slurs or hate speech or something like that thrown at me. But all I got to do is report that, or remove that person from the comment. So, again, shout out to the lady in Glendale. If you're listening, I don't know if you are or not, but if you are, uh, hello, and I hope you have a good night. But I was also, we had a very interesting conversation as well. Thank you for the likes, everybody. So, and if you come on live, stop in and say hello or say hi if you want. You can do that on this. I like to meet new people, and as a 52-year-old female, I like to talk to people, in the comments or whatever. But the lady I met in Glendale, I want to say hello to her and thank her for the shirt. It was really good. I haven't worn it yet, but I will soon, I hope. I don't want to wear it right now because it might get messed up a little bit, and I want to keep it black. Is hard to keep clean though, so. But anyway, yeah. So whenever I go out in public, I am actually I'm a customer service critic. Now I have a couple other platforms I do that I've been starting to do because I know that YouTube has been doing this AI age verification thing, and trying to see if you're 18, which is really ridiculous if you ask me. But I don't make content for kids. None of my content, because of the things I talk about, are not made for kids. They're made for the LGBT community or those that are allies. Then I got some trolls that like to come in here and get on. So, but I try to watch the comments very closely when I'm on here doing my live. Again, thank you for the likes. I got 4 likes. That's really cool. I appreciate that. Some of you today is getting ready to go to church day or whatever. So if you're going to church, God bless. Or you're getting ready to go back to work for Monday. I know some of you on the weekend do things, and some of you go to church, some of you still work on the weekend, and some are just going out and, having fun at the lake or picnic or something. So that's always good to do. So, yeah. So back to what I was talking about. Charlie Kirk, Megan Fox, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, they're all dangerous. Now here lately I haven't watched, but I've seen other people post Megan Fox on their channel, on other platforms, talking about the funeral for Charlie Kirk or whatever. Where I live, I didn't go to the venue because I'm actually peacefully protesting against the fact they even had a funeral for Charlie Kirk. I think he lived in Arizona, which is, I never knew that, but I never went to any of his venues. I've seen him attack a lot of people that were a part of the LGBT community. I've seen that happen. He was very transphobic and very homophobic. So, and he hated everybody in the LGBTQ community. So the man spread hate. That's all he ever did. So that's why I say in my lives, be sure before you say something that it's going to not be so hateful or discriminatory or don't harass or bully. Because I'm not on here to get bullied. I'm not on here to do that. But I am on here to talk about topics. And if there's any topics that you all would like to discuss, you can comment, but keep the comments professional and very nice. Do not be discriminatory or homophobic, transphobic, or whatever you want to say about that. I'll wait a few more minutes to see if anybody. Wow, I got one person in here listening, and that's fine. That they haven't said anything, but whoever you are, hello. Good to have you in on the live. This is Pink Angel Phoenix here, 52-year-old female. Well, they just left. I did get 4 likes though, so I think what I'm going to do is end this right now. And I will be back on later here for another live. And we'll find out what happens with that live too. So, have a good night. Stay safe. And Pink Angel Phoenix out, 52-year-old female. Be safe. Remember, hate is never holy. Pink Angel out.